Riley Dennis made a video before going in for facial feminization surgery stating he has been on the hormones and is transitioning and is therefore a genuine trans. And then a buttload of channels made videos apologizing for their past behavior in tearing Riley a new one, and it was all very contrived. Now, I wasn't one of those channels, as transitioning or not, he's still a dick. And I say he because pronouns are a matter of respect. And when it comes to this guy, that well is drier than Anita Sarkeesian's Cave of Wonders. But Riley, not satisfied with so many people saying they were sorry, decided to make a passive-aggressive jab at the aforementioned channels by showing them how to construct a real apology. Advice from the guy who rarely admits when he's wrong.
All apologies are not created equal.
Oh yeah, Riley's back from surgery now. They appear to have performed a tracheal shave, so his Adam's apple isn't as prominent anymore. Now he has a scar instead. Nice one. Chicks dig scars, right?
Some apologies are really genuine and heartfelt and sincere, while others are self-serving and selfish and rude.
Oh, now there's a BuzzFeed quiz for you. Which apology are you most like? I am the second one.
And a lot of apologies end up somewhere in the middle.
No, Riley, you're either male or female. There is no... Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. I just went on autopilot when he said somewhere in the middle. I must be getting too used to that argument. My bad.
So let me show you one example of how not to apologize.
Oh, fuck your fucking jump cuts, man. Finish the damn word first. Did I stop the video just to say that? Yes. Yes, I did.
At San Diego Comic-Con this year, the cast of Supergirl was singing a goofy song about the show, and one of the actors sang about how two of the female characters on the show were just friends and were not going to get together.
And let me guess, people got upset. You got upset because two fictional characters are straight.
And they all laughed about it. Afterwards, a lot of queer people who are fans of that show felt really hurt by this, myself included.
Yes, I told you. Fucking nailed it, man. Honestly, you can set your watch to this kid.
Because it felt like they were mocking the fact that anyone ever thought those two characters could get together. Queer people have such little mainstream representation as it is.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Modern Family, Will and Grace, True Blood, Doctor Who, Dear White People, A Series of Unfortunate Events, Gilmore Girls, Empire, and those are just off the top of my head. Unless you mean in film, and then mate, Albus Dumbledore was gay, Jack Sparrow was bi, there's a fucking Wikipedia page on LGBT characters in film, you're chatting shit.
It felt cruel to mock the bit of representation that they were hoping for. Now, I don't think they meant it as an insult to their queer fans, but that doesn't change the fact that many people were hurt by it.
Perhaps because they think of themselves as queer fans, not just fans. And if they think there aren't any gay superheroes, are they really fans? Or are they referring to having LGBT storylines instead of, you know, something good?
So then, the actor who sang that line made an apology on Instagram. It's filled with sentences of him deflecting blame onto the queer fans who were hurt by this.
Well, come on, it is their fault. That was nothing to get offended by, and even then, offense is taken, not given. And if you read that text through, you'll actually find he does none of that, Riley.
He says that they took it the wrong way, that he couldn't possibly be homophobic, that they were spewing hate at him. And he says they made him feel just as shitty as he made them feel.
Well, when you have thousands of people telling you you're homophobic, yeah, that's going to have an effect. More of an effect than hearing your favorite superhero isn't going to have a gay fling with another character, but I guess perspective is way out of the question at this point.
That's a terrible apology. In fact, if you ever want to know how to not make an apology, this is a really great example.
I think it's a better example of when not to give an apology, really. You're like those fangirls who cut themselves when they find out their favorite pop star's married.
And a lot of people who are much more involved in the fandom than myself have gone in depth about this and articulated their feelings really well.
About how they got upset over an interview with an actor. Bloody hell, when World War III comes, you guys are fucked.
And I think he ended up posting a lot more about it, so I just want to talk about apologies in general today.
Yay! The whole point of the fucking video!
Not about this specific one, because I see this happen all the time, not just in TV fandom. People really don't seem to understand what makes an apology a good apology.
Depends on how uptight the person is, really, doesn't it? Personally, I'll accept a simple my bad, but I'm guessing you expect a fusion of groveling, promises, and a general loss of dignity.
So, here are some steps you can follow to make sure that your apology is sincere. Number 1, show remorse and take responsibility.
Yep, totally right. Although some acting may be required here, especially when apologizing to someone just so they shut the fuck up.
You gotta say the words, I'm sorry, or I apologize. I've genuinely seen people apologize without actually saying the words.
So words like remorse, regret, shame, repentant, penitent are all off the table. It may sound like that person has put a lot of thought into their apology, but it has to be the specific words or the spell won't work.
You gotta say it, and you can't qualify it with anything. Like, I'm sorry you were hurt, or I apologize if I offended anyone.
I'm sorry your skin is so thin and your very soul is so weak that you get upset by things that, as a grown-ass human shouldn't affect you in any way at all, you petulant child.
Aren't apologizing for your actions, they're apologizing for how the other person feels.
I'm sorry you feel as though the way you feel is in any way important to me or anyone else around the globe. I'm sorry your president doesn't consult you personally before making a decision, and I regret that the wheel was invented without first asking for your approval.
You're saying that you're sorry that they're hurt, but you're not taking responsibility for having caused that pain.
Well, you don't apologize for the pain you caused me, so suck a dick, Riley.
What you want to say is, I'm sorry that I did this, or I apologize for doing that.
Actually, what I want to say is, alright Mila Kunis, one more time, but then I have to pick up Scarlett Johansson in the Lamborghini for our wedding anniversary.
You have to own up to the damage you've done and genuinely show remorse, or it's a terrible apology. Number 2, explain what you did wrong.
This is getting out of hand already. Step 1 would have been fine on its own. Just say, sorry, I got the wrong hole. It's easy.
Avoiding what you did or making excuses for it doesn't help. The person you're apologizing to wants to know that you know what you did wrong.
Yeah, if it's your wife or girlfriend, and even then she'll still bring it up again 2 years down the line.
State explicitly what you did wrong and explain that you now understand why that's wrong. It's okay to say that you didn't mean to or that it wasn't your intent, but don't use that as a shield to hide behind.
I can just see you glaring at signs that say we apologize for any inconvenience. Like, no, motherfucker, I want to know that you know what you did.
Regardless of what you meant to do or what your intention was, you hurt somebody, and your intention doesn't change that.
So, it would be easier for all parties if the other person didn't get all pissy for something that wasn't intentional and has no effect on fucking anything, wouldn't it? Or as I like to call it, being an adult.
Just say, I said X, Y, and Z, and now I realize that I shouldn't have said that, and this is why. It's
Well, yeah, it's XYZ, but apology accepted.
that easy. Number 3, don't deflect blame onto the person you hurt.
Seeing as they're fragile enough already, and taking some of the blame might just kill them.
It's possible that you feel hurt in this situation too. Maybe the person you hurt lashed out at you and called you names afterwards because they were angry and hurt.
Escalating the situation, Riley, like you're doing right now under the weak-ass guise of talking about an actor's apology when you're actually referring to Blair White.
But they had every right to feel that way because you did something wrong that deeply hurt them. Their anger at you is justified, and the way they may have hurt you is in no way comparable to how you hurt them.
So, once someone says something, you can react however you want. Riley, it's that level of reasoning that makes people think it's okay to inflict violence on anyone they disagree with. Seriously, are you wearing that hat to cover the scar from your lobotomy?
If I punch somebody, then they call me an asshole, I have no right to be like, hey, that word hurts me, how could you do that to me?
But what if you call someone an asshole and they punch you? According to you, they aren't to blame.
Because really, if I just punched them, I'd probably deserve that.
Let's face it, they wouldn't call you an asshole. They'd laugh in your face and ask where your nurse is.
You have to take the blame, and you have to take the pushback and the hate that may have resulted from what you did.
Or you can just block them on Twitter, can't you, Riley?
And the thing is, this might crop up years later. You may have already apologized, and someone shows up out of nowhere who doesn't know you apologized or didn't think your apology was genuine enough.
Ah, the apology police. Yeah, they can spring up at any time. It's like jury duty or cancer.
And they're still mad at you. I know it's exhausting to deal with that because on the internet, everything lasts forever. And
You're damn right. So you would have been better off keeping the Adam's apple, Riley, because you ain't fooling anyone.
something you did wrong years ago can haunt you forever. But you still have to be sorry. You have to keep apologizing over and over again.
Well, this is just coming across as more work than it needs to be. Is that the aim? Make an apology such hassle that people just won't make mistakes. Hey, we should think of some punishment for crimes too, so people stop committing them. It's foolproof.
Not everyone's gonna see or know about your apology, and if you hurt them bad enough, some people are probably never gonna accept it.
So what's the point then? Might as well just carry on living, eh? I mean, that would be more productive than giving a fucking 3-step apology every time someone raises the issue.
And that's okay. They have every right to be mad, and you have no right to demand they accept your apology.
That's true. As they say, to forgive is divine. So just give up on the ones that don't because, well, what else can you do? Fuck 'em. Some people just like being angry.
Being a good ally and genuinely trying to be better is a process.
Yeah, that too sounds like a lot of effort for nothing. And where did being an ally come from anyway? way, we weren't even talking about that bollocks.
It's not something you can do once and be done with. Number 4, explain how you'll do better next time.
4? There are 4 steps. Fucking hell, Riley, you're treating this like a fucking sales meeting. An event happened, this is where we are at the moment, and now I want future predictions. The investors want facts, figures, and goals.
Part of apologizing is changing your future behavior. An apology is worthless if you go ahead and do the same thing 2 days later.
Does it have to be 2? Because Hiroshima and Nagasaki were 3 days apart. Does that count?
So tell the person you're apologizing to exactly how you're going to change.
Like how Salem Saberhagen from Sabrina the Teenage Witch was transformed into a cat for attempting to take over the world. That kind of thing, right?
Obviously, nobody can perfectly predict their future behavior, and you might make a mistake again, but you need to be clear that you're at least trying to change.
Or maybe you could compromise, you know? One could stop being a dick for some time while the other works on not getting offended so easily. Or would that undermine any plans to make the whole world effeminate?
If you said a word that hurt someone, promise you'll try to remove that word from your vocabulary.
Get fucked. I'm not doing that. Sure, maybe don't say it around them for a while, but not if they're a cunt about it. And not if they aren't going to make any effort to not get offended by it. Otherwise, it's all on me to look out for them, and I've got my own problems, motherfucker. I can put up a mental checkpoint for a while, but why should I make the effort to keep it there permanently if the other person isn't making an effort to get over it? I ain't no safe space, you bitch. Fuck off.
If you hurt somebody through your actions, explain how you'll avoid doing that action again.
Or you can explain how asking someone to change on your behalf is a fucking conceited thing to do.
Be as specific as you can, because what people really want to know is that they can trust you moving forward to not do the same thing again.
Whatever happened to... Oh, fucking hell, there's a 5th step. For shit's sake, let's just get this over with.
Number 5, don't expect them to accept your apology. Depending on how badly you hurt someone, they may take a while to accept your apology.
Yeah, anger's a process. I get that. Some people have to find their way through it on their own. They usually come out the other end of it with the realization that they've overreacted, but don't worry, Riley. No one's expecting that level of self-awareness from you.
Or they may never accept it. Either way, they don't owe you that. You hurt them, and if they don't feel that they can genuinely accept your apology, they don't have to.
And so repeat the previous steps until the end of time, right, Riley? Penance must be paid every day so you feel powerful.
Demanding that someone accepts your apology is centering yourself in the situation, but it's not about you, and you need to remember that.
Ah, so if you don't accept an apology, then it's all about you until you do accept it. It doesn't work that way, Riley. There comes a time when someone says, oh, come on, you're just being stupid now.
And there you go. If you follow all 5 of those steps, you've officially made a good apology.
Not just a good apology, a Riley Dennis gold standard apology.
But don't just forget about your apology and move on. Remember that a part of apologizing is changing your future behavior.
Or you could just hang around with people who aren't so fucking whingy. That's a totally viable option, and it's much easier. I mean, why change for someone when they won't even accept your apology?
You gotta keep this in mind moving forward, otherwise you're just gonna keep doing the same shitty thing you did before.
Shitty is in the eye of the beholder, Riley. You've done some pretty shady things when it comes to reporting other people's Twitter and YouTube accounts, but I don't see you apologizing for that, not even step 1.
And at that point, it doesn't matter how genuine your apology is.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway if they won't accept it. My advice is to just move on. Don't flog yourself over how someone else feels unless you genuinely care about that person. And even then, there's a point in time when they're just hanging it over your head for their own ends. But here's some real advice, Riley. If you aren't going to accept someone's apology, say so. Don't be a little bitch and make passive-aggressive videos about the fucking cast of Supergirl that was quite frankly as subtle as your Adam's apple, which I can only assume is now on display in a museum somewhere as the dermal plate of a fucking Stegosaurus. Thanks for watching, guys. Check me out on VidMe because YouTube is intent on destroying itself. And please consider becoming a patron because YouTube is intent on destroying itself. The links are in the description, and remember, there are many states of sorrow, but Riley is the sorriest state of them all.